the two biggest lessons you learned that has helped you counsel and help your clients?
Long-term consistency will always trump short-term intensity, right?
Love it.
Like when people reach out to me for coaching, as an example, they want to do everything immediately. They want to do cardio, they want to do weight training, they want to cut their calories, and here they are doing nothing, and now they want to do everything, right? And it's like, I know that if they go down that path, they're not going to be able to sustain it, and they're gonna fall short. They're gonna burn out in a week or 2 weeks, and they're gonna be right back where they started. Versus if they just get into the gym, maybe 30 minutes, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, start little, little by little, start eating healthier, nothing crazy, just start cutting out certain foods, maybe cut out the beers at night. Now we're building healthier habits to where they're going to get to the goal, in a much quicker way, instead of just trying to do it fast, but then keep continuously failing.
What is up, guys? How's it going? Sean French with the Determined Society podcast coming at you. Season 3. Welcome back, guys. I'm kicking it off with my boy, Steven Campolo. He is a fitness pro. He is an absolute juggernaut in the fitness space. He helps men lose 20 to 60 pounds in 30 to 60 days. This guy, I might be wrong in the days, but hey, he makes people look like the freaking Avengers. I don't know what to tell you. All you got to do is go to his Instagram and you will see all the amazing photos of before and after, and the progress pics and everything like that. But the one thing that I really love about Steven is, we became really good friends because of his ability to be super humble and kind. And we met online. It was really funny, not like on Grindr or anything like that. Don't get any ideas, but we met on Instagram. I commented on his success in getting his book. What is it? The 55 Laws of Abs?
77 laws.
77. So that's my problem. I only know 55 of them. That's why I don't have a six pack. So I messaged him, or I wrote on his post, congratulations. And, he hit me back and he was just say, hey man, it looks like we live in the same area. Let's connect. And, we met up for coffee and we've had, a very strong friendship ever since. And it's like the first time I met this guy, I felt like I known him for, 15, 20 years. So Steven, man, welcome to the show, bud.
Thank you so much, man. It is an honor and a privilege. I never thought I'd see the day, but here we are.
Hey man, you know what? I was waiting for you to grow your hair out a little longer and look extra handsome for the camera.
We're getting there, man. The new Thor movie comes out in July, and my birthday.
Are you casting for it?
I don't know, man. I've gotten some requests. If something happens to Chris Hemsworth, I want to be ready to go.
That could happen. I don't want to say we can make it happen because I think that would be bad taste. But you know what? Hey, you never know, right?
Just for the record, I never called myself Thor. People would just call me that as a nickname. I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad nickname. I'll go with it. I could be called a lot worse than that. So
I coached a kid when he was in high school. He calls himself Thor too. Bryce Johnston. What's up, Bryce? Good guy. He's like Viking strong, big into powerlifting. You might want to check him out. But yeah, he calls himself Thor too. He's got the long, straggly blonde hair, and it doesn't make any sense. His hair, yours does. It looks like it's well manicured. What do you have in that right now? Is that like some pomade, or is that just you just get out of the shower? Did you shower for me?
No, dude. I was a little smelly. I had to hop in there. Dude, just some good old water and coconut oil.
Coconut oil. That's your secret. That's why you always smell so good.
Yeah, man. I use quite a bit of lady products because all these ladies that help me with my hair, they're all telling me what to buy, and I spend freaking thousands of dollars on, shampoos and conditioners. I don't think really work, but hey, who knows?
Hey man, that's pretty cool. Like, when you use all that coconut oil, do you have to count that in your macros?
Nope. That's calorie free.
Okay, cool.
I buy the calorie free version.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, dude, on my show, I'm very happy to have you. Obviously, I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's really kind of cool that our schedules kind of finally aligned. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the actual show, I want to ask you some fun questions first. And I think I already know the answer. What is your favorite superhero?
Oh gosh. I mean, freaking Thor. Why not go with Thor?
Just because people say you look like him, or you are all in on Thor just in general.
I just like the vibe, man. There's something, you walk around with a big hammer. Like he's from this alternate.
That's the male dream. Walk around with a big hammer.
Yeah, dude. Like let the hammer just, go. And he's just a badass guy. I don't know. He's
pretty cool. I wonder if anybody's going to catch the joke that we just ever so slid in. They caught it? You think so?
Yeah,
it was very nonchalant by you. I was wondering if you actually got it.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, good. You was good. It was good.
Yeah,
you would be a good actor. You do need to cast for that movie. Chris Hemsworth, buddy, you're in trouble.
Maybe one day, man.
One day. Hey, you know what? How many Spider-Mans have there been? How many James Bonds have there been?
Many.
A lot.
Hundreds.
A lot, man. A lot. So, another good question, or tell the audience names of your dogs and what you like about each one of them. Cause I know you're a big dog person.
Oh my gosh. I love dogs more than people.
I know you
have two little French bulldogs, two little Frenchies. So I'm talking
that's what's up. Yep.
And I have two little Frenchies, Luigi and Daisy, brother and sister. So, they're not puppies anymore, but they're about a year and a half old. So honestly, man, in my free time, I'm usually just chilling with them, going for walks, taking them out for pup cups at Starbucks and, doing the whole pretend daddy thing.
That's cool. It's not pretend. It's they're family members. You and your girlfriend,
yes, sure.
You guys have, I don't want to say her name on air, obviously, but I know it for the record, obviously. But I think it's Christina. Is it Christina? Sorry, Christina. He outed you. She's a make-believe person. But he does have the two dogs. It's funny that you mentioned your dogs. I don't remember which one. Which is the one that you had to put on a diet?
Oh, Daisy. Daisy's a little girl. Yeah, she she just puts on weight quick. I don't know. She looks like me. She looks like a little marshmallow, on toothpicks,
Oh, poor thing. Did she ever hit a goal weight?
What's that? She got there and then she regained it again. She struggles with her weight, which is a shame because I'm a fitness guy and I shouldn't allow it to happen, but it's happening.
So I'm wondering why your skills don't translate to canines.
Because I'm a pushover and she gives me those puppy eyes and she wants a treat. And
gotcha.
If I give Luigi a treat, I have to give her a treat. But I give her smaller, like smaller portions.
Gotcha.
So if I give Luigi a full size treat, I'll break off a piece and give it to her.
Well, it's kind of like when I give my kids a dessert. Like Bobby will get a bigger piece, right?
Yeah.
Alina will get a little bit of smaller piece, and then Mia's looking at me like, "What the fuck is this?"
Exactly.
I was like, "Well, you're 3, so deal with it. At least you're getting something." Yeah. Dude. So I want to touch on your personal journey first, right? Because you yourself naturally lost 100 pounds. And I would love to know how you got here from there, growing the love for fitness through your own journey and what inspired you to take it a step further and bring it to the masses.
Wow. We got to go way back, right?
Let's do it.
20 years back. Mm-hmm. So I'm in my mid 30s now. So we're talking about when I was 14, 15. Mm-hmm. I was fat for most of my childhood. When you're a kid, you don't really think about it, right? You're not thinking about girls. You just wanting to have fun. You play video games, hang out with your friends. You're not thinking about dating or sex or anything like that. So by the time
I was thinking about sex at 13. Sorry. That's just, I'm a baseball player.
I was a late bloomer, man. I really was. I didn't I didn't really come into my own until I was 15, 16 years old. I was a very naive child, maybe because it's how I was brought up, grew up in church. My parents were both, I don't know. It's just very, very, not vulnerable, but very, very innocent, if that makes sense. Right. Mm-hmm. So 14, 15 going into high school. And, I was bullied in middle school, but again, it's I can kind of handle myself. Even though I got bullied, I was also want to fight back and be hey, if you call me fat, I'm going to punch you in the face. Right. So I was a fat kid with an attitude. Right. So
love it.
But of course it did bother me. Like it definitely made me insecure and made me, you know, like it got in my head. Right. So going to high school, I'm about 15 years old, and, you know, hormones start changing and things start happening. And, you know, there was a girl I liked, and I'm like, crap, I'm a fat guy. I got to do something about this. Like, this girl's not going to want to be with me. She wants to be with the other dude over there. So this was New Year's of, I believe, 2003 or 2004. I don't remember exactly, but I just decided, I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be the year I'm going to change. And I decided to change. So I started running, and this was up in New York. So I grew up in New York, where if you know, in the wintertime, it's, you know, freaking freezing.
Yeah. It's not warm.
Yeah. So January 1st, I was outside. I didn't know what to do. This is like pre-social media, pre-YouTube. There was no, you know, I don't even think there was Google back then, or if there was, I was unaware of it. So just started running. You know, I always watched the Rocky movies. So I'm like, all right, well, when Rocky gets ready for a fight, what does he do? He goes for a run. So I'm like, all right,
heavy things, and he puts them down. Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to go run. So every single night I would bundle up and I would run to the end of my block and back. And, you know, it was probably a quarter of a mile, if that. It wasn't that far, but at that time for me, it felt like it was 10 miles, right? I mean, I'd get halfway up the block, I'd be huffing and puffing, then I'd come back. And, you know, every night I would try to go a little bit further, you know, and then the runs would get longer and longer. And I lost a good amount of weight pretty quickly. But then, you know, I had another issue. I had a bunch of loose skin because I didn't build up any muscle under the fat, right? So that's what kind of led me to start weight training. So I started working out at home. Then I joined a gym, and I just became obsessed. Like, I have one of those personalities where either all in on something or I'm all out. There's really no in between with me, which I guess could be a blessing and a curse. Like, I have a very addictive personality. Thank God I've never been addicted to drugs or alcohol or anything like that.
Yeah, don't try it. Yeah.
But like when it comes to things like sports, you know, if I find something I really like I want to do it all the time. Right. And working out for me was one of those things where I started to see my body change. Every time I went to the gym, I would notice something a little different, maybe like a little vein or a little, you know, some muscle definition. And that's really all you need to keep you fired up and wanting to keep it going. So, I mean, that was 20 years ago, man. And here we are 20 years later, and I'm still as much in love with the process. And, you know, it's become such a big part of my life. Right. Now I want to jump in on something real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah. You said something very specific there that kind of tied in with the very beginning of your journey, the word process. Right. Yeah. You learn to be obsessed with the process. You love the process. So that's something that I think that I really want you to touch on, or I know I want you to touch on, because listeners, including myself, can get so married to the actual result, right? We need to detach from the result and fall in love with the process. So I loved how you said, hey, maybe it was just a quarter of a mile, but it was hard for me. But part of your process was going a little bit further, and you falling in love with that process. And here you are 20 years later, and you are so obsessed with the process. And I can speak on this because I know you very well. You are not a results guy. I mean, the results are going to come, but you are so dialed in on the process. It's actually impressive. And in some ways I can do that. In the gym, I don't have that ability, right? But in other things, like in sales, I can really get behind the process because I understand it more. So, dude, I know it was long-winded, but I really want you to dial in on that right now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like once you start falling in love with something, and you see the fruits of your labor being rewarded, like you want to keep it going, right? You want to work harder. You want to push more. Say, oh man, like if I got this far this quick, let's keep pushing more and see how much more progress I can make, right? And a lot of times too, I think what begins to happen is like your workout is working out on you more than you're working out on it, right? So what that means is like a lot of people, they go to work out to change their body and, get in better shape, lose weight. But that workout, like going through that process of the pain and the discomfort and the sweating and pushing and getting uncomfortable, like that's really changing a lot about you, your discipline, like, your business. Like you could literally apply that same exact process to all areas of your life. That's why for me, it's so important, even till today. Like the first thing I do, I wake up, I have coffee, I, maybe check messages, check in with clients, and then boom, I'm out the door to the gym. That's how I have to start my day, because it literally sets the tone for my entire day. Right. So it's a lot more than just, oh, I want to work out to look good. Of course, that's a great byproduct of working out, eating healthy. Yeah, you look good, you look good naked. However, like all the other benefits that come along with it, putting yourself in the right mental state, the right emotional state, having more confidence, right? I mean, if I can go kick my own ass in the gym for an hour in the morning, like no one's going to be able to kick my ass, in business or, throughout the day, or, there's always going to be something that's going to come up during the day. Right. And, as long as I get my workout in the morning, like it sets the tone for everything, so like, I'm just big on getting those wins every day. Right. And like, if I could have the crappiest day in the world, if I got my workout in the morning, at least I accomplished something that day. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm just all about stacking wins and starting your day working out. Like that's a great way to just stack an easy win for the day. And then it puts you in the right place, moving forward.
I love it, man, because, a lot of times where I talk to my clients, when I'm going through everything with them, it's like, listen, you are making commitments. You set a schedule the night before you go to bed, and you typically set an alarm. Some people set them, some people don't, right? Some people allow their bodies to naturally wake up, and God bless those people. Because for me, I need to be shot out of a can. I need to go, right? So I set it for 4 a.m. It's part of my process, right? Like if I don't get up, I am operating out of my process, right? So what's going to happen is I don't get up and I get my workout in at, 9 o'clock in the morning, but now my whole day's thrown off, right? So my process is all screwed up for that day. Like I'm leaving myself open for a lot of shit to happen. Yeah. Whereas if I'm operating in my process, in my standard, I am building not only mental fortitude, mental toughness, but I'm building grit and I'm building confidence, right? Yeah. And it spills over into everything in my life. When we know what we're supposed to put in our bodies and we know how we're supposed to train, you do those things. It's funny how much more well-spoken you are too. Yeah. Your speech patterns change. Everything about you changes because you're so confident. You're not even thinking about what you're going to say because you're leading with your heart. It just happens. So I commend you for that, man, because, there's not a lot of people that truly understand that side of it, right? You are able to understand and connect the fact that, okay, my gym time in the morning is not just tied to my physique. It is tied to how I'm going to operate for my clients, for my business. How am I going to show up for myself, my girlfriend that's not named Christina or is named Christina? All those things matter. Yeah. Right. And I think that's what's exciting about what you said. Sorry about that. I had to cut you off because you started describing a process without saying process. And then you said the word, and I just had to stop you.
No, I mean, listen, like even I have I have some, clients that are CEOs of, Fortune 500 companies. Right. And they've told me like directly, like, hey, going through this process and losing weight, getting in better shape, like it's increased the bottom line of my company, because now they're up early. And now, I mean, listen, these are ultra disciplined guys already.
Sure.
And in a different space, right? Like in the finance world. And, but now it's like, now they're healthier. Now they have more energy. Now they're feeling better. Now they're putting their health and fitness first. Right. So like for me, it's all connected. Like I just had this conversation with someone today. It's like, you can call it your emotional, your spiritual, your physical, but it's like whenever one of those is out of sync, even if you have all the money in the world, if you're fat and unhealthy, like you're not really going to be firing on all cylinders. Right. And me personally, like I want to be optimal in all areas of my life. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to, do well financially, do well emotionally, be healthy in my relationships. Like it's all connected. So that's why I think when people say like, well, I'm fat and happy, it's like, dude, they're lying to themselves.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And it breaks my heart to hear that, because if they're fat and happy, like imagine how healthy and fit and don't have any heart issues, like they're going to be a lot happier. Right.
Yeah. So For me, it's a lot of the, like you said, the mental health, right? I noticed like I got back on track 2 days ago with like macros and just destroying myself in the gym.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that my interactions with my children, I'm more patient, right? I'm more open, right? I'm a better listener. It's funny how my wife and I haven't gotten even a little bit of a disagreement in the last 2 days, because it helps my mental health, right? And it helps my relationships. And it's just super important, man. And I think that, when you're talking to these people and these people say, well, I'm fat and happy. It's just like, well, why are we even talking then? Obviously something intrigues you, right? Maybe it's not about how you look. Maybe it's, saving your life that you don't know is in trouble yet.
Yeah.
Right. Because I got to tell you, man, like when I go off the rails and I'm not healthy, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I'm not where I want to be right now. I'm not where I need to be right now, but you know what? I will be. Right. It's like, I decided, it's like, okay, this is enough's enough. Like this has got to come first. Right. And I think what's great is, having somebody like you that's taught me so much. I mean, really, you probably don't even know that, but you have, right? And it's having good people in your corner that you can really open up to about these things. Cause you and I have talked about about insecurities, and, we both have them, right? And they're, and honestly, they're the same. We're all more alike than we know. Anyway, just kind of a far, out in the weeds tangent about what we're specifically talking about. But dude, I agree with you. You can't.
You know what it is? And you and me actually had this conversation a few months back. Like it was around the holidays, or around the time you and me had met actually. And I think you got sick, I got sick. And both of us were just like, we weren't working out at that time. We were both just kind of like, you were with the family. I was home. I couldn't go to the gym because I had, that virus that's out there. I don't want to say the negative. So, I was home and just eating junk and just feeling like garbage. And I think we both kind of we're going through the same thing. And it's like, whenever you're kind of out of alignment with who like you really are deep down, I don't know about you, but I'm miserable. Like I get depressed, I get anxious, I get stressed, I get mad, I get moody.
Super impatient.
Yeah. I mean, because like there are two different versions of ourselves, right? You have the higher self and you have, the lower self, call it like the good voice and the bad voice, right? And those two are always at battle with each other. And it's always, choosing comfort versus, or doing the thing that's uncomfortable, but it's going to get you closer to the goal. And that at the end of the day, once you accomplish it, you can go to bed that night and say, you know what, like I'm happy. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and get after it again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, man, comfort is a drug too, so it's like the more times you combat that and the more times you fight it and win, it's going to get stronger. It's like a muscle, but unfortunately it's not easy, man.
It never is, dude. There's adversity, there's lessons along the line, and which kind of leads me to, ask you, what are some, maybe two lessons that you learned in your journey, right? In getting, losing all that weight and then getting, a lot of lean muscle tissue put on your frame so that loose skin went away. What are some of the two biggest lessons you learned that has helped you counsel and help your clients?
So one thing that always stuck with me is this, right? Because people want results quick. They want to, they want to lose weight quick. They want to build muscle quick. They want to kind of take the path of least resistance. But unfortunately, when it comes to changing the human body, there is no short path, right? So one thing that always stuck with me is, long-term consistency will always trump short-term intensity, right?
Love it.
Like when people reach out to me for coaching, as an example, they want to do everything immediately. They want to do cardio. They want to do weight training. They want to cut their calories and, here they are doing nothing and now they want to do everything. Right. And it's like, I know that if they go down that path, they're not going to be able to sustain it. And they're going to fall short. They're going to burn out in a week or 2 weeks and they're going to be right back where they started. Versus if they just get into the gym, maybe 30 minutes, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, start little, little by little, start eating healthier, nothing crazy. Just start cutting out certain foods, maybe cut out the beers at night. Now we're building healthier habits to where they're going to get to the goal in a much quicker way instead of just trying to do it fast, but then keep continuously failing. Right. So like consistency when it comes to getting in shape and losing weight, like is really the most important thing. A lot of people want results quick, and that's why they yo-yo diet, or they continue to find the next red shiny object, right? Is it keto? Is it fasting? Is it this fat burner or this workout? And, again, everything promises quick results, and that's what people want. But there is no magic pill. Like, you have to just stay consistent, because the human body is very complex. Like, it doesn't change overnight. You didn't get fat overnight. Weight overnight, right? Like, as a fitness coach, sometimes I have to have that conversation with people and just, kind of be realistic with them, right? Like, you can't transform your body in a week or a month or even 3 months. Like, if you want to make a change, do it and look at it as a life, as a lifelong thing, right? So, consistency is the one thing you have to just go into it with that mindset. Like, I'm going to be consistent. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to take this one day at a time, right? Get my workout in one day at a time, eat healthy one day at a time, and just take things one day at a time, instead of looking forward and say, 2 months from now, I want to be at this weight, or 3 months from now, or, I want to be here. It's like, don't do that. Just focus on one day at a time. And I promise you'll wake up 3 months from now and you might be where you want to be. Right. So,
but don't get discouraged, right? If you're not exactly where you want to be in 3 months, right? You might have this idea or this comparison, or you see this dude on Instagram or a fitness model, like, I want to look like that guy in 3 months. And the reality is, for somebody like me that, I didn't just not do what I was supposed to for 3 months. There was a time period in my life for like 3 or 4 years where I didn't do shit. Like, how could somebody like myself, right, expect at that point where I was at that I could fix all this shit in 90 days? Like, that's whack, man. Because like, you've always taught me, I was thinking about doing the certain program again. You're like, dude, Sean, like, think about it. You are going to look great in that period of time. And then that pendulum is going to swing hard the other way. And I'm like, I thought about it. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. And then I did it for a couple of days. I'm like, dude, he's right. This is not going to be sustainable for me long-term. And what it does is, honestly, it really feeds into a perfection complex that I have. And I can't do that. Right. I can't do that. I know I need to hit my 4 macros, or at least on the two most important ones, which is the calories and the protein, right? And the calories are going to determine my weight, and the protein is going to determine how I look when I get to that weight, right? Yeah. So, but here's the thing: it's like that instant gratification, right? And I think that also comes from a lot of pain, like especially in this industry, right? And then when we're dealing with people's bodies and things like that, like, people want to get there from A to Z quick as fuck because they're tired of hurting. They're in emotional pain. Like, I know there was a point in my life when I was like 265 pounds, I was in emotional pain. Like, I didn't even, dude, it broke my heart even to get in the fucking shower. Cause it was embarrassing, right? Here I am sitting at 203. I'm still not where I want to be, but like, is it better than 265? Yeah. Right. So now we go. Yeah. I think it's important. And the one thing that I want to highlight you on, man, and just like tell the listeners that if they're looking for somebody to help them with their transformation, you're the guy, because, not only are you knowledgeable, you have a great program and a system in place of follow-up, of nutrition. You can guide them through the supplement process if they so choose. But I think the one thing that you possess more than any other fitness professional I've ever been around is empathy.
Yeah.
And to me, most trainers don't know what it's like to be fat. They don't know that struggle. You do.
That's a big part of it. I mean, I had a conversation with someone today about this. They're like, hey, I found your Instagram page, and what I really liked about you was I feel like you were really like sympathetic and understood what it's like to be overweight, And I'm like, Yeah, I've been there. Like I know what it's like to be insecure and be afraid to take your shirt off or wear a t-shirt in the pool or at the beach, right? Like,
Yeah.
literally my biggest fear when I was younger, like I was terrified to take my shirt off because my birthday's in July, right? So my mom would always like have pool parties for me in the summertime, have all my friends over. And, she didn't know this, but deep down I was like so stressed and so like just anxious because I'm like, how am I going to take my shirt off? Everyone's going to make fun of me. I have, these freaking man tits down to my belly button, like, big stomach, love handles. And, I just like would wear a shirt in the pool. Like, oh yeah, I just don't want to get sunburned. Like, yeah, okay, dude. it's
I've told that lie before.
Why you're wearing a shirt, right? But
yeah,
again, sometimes in life, like the pain has to get so bad to where you're either going to make a change or you're going to stay in that pain, right? So that's what led me to make that change. But
yeah, I think it's Tony Robbins. I think said that. I think it was maybe in a book that he wrote. Like, until you can tie emotional pain to something, there's no change.
Yeah.
For me, it was just, it's like this thing where I want to be able to go on family vacations and not worry about it. I want to be able to walk around this place with no shirt on, right? Yeah. Like choose when I want to wear a shirt. And the biggest thing is like when you're in good physical condition, man, you don't have to worry about what clothes you're going to wear. Sure. It's just like, everything fits. All right, cool. Sure. I'll wear that. I'm really good in it, So it helps you physically and helps you emotionally. So the only negative is we don't have a ton, all night to talk or all night. I would, right? And you would too, because you're my guy. But man, let me ask you, give me the biggest piece or the biggest piece of adversity that you have had to deal with in your journey, not just with yourself, but in your business. And how'd you overcome it?
So I don't know if adversity would be the word I would use. I mean, okay. I would say this, right? Like the biggest thing I had to overcome personally was making a decision that I wasn't going to care what people thought, right? Mm-hmm. The problem or the biggest issue when people want to share their knowledge or share their life or put themselves out there on social media is now literally everyone in the world can see, right? Mm. Your friends, your family, ex-girlfriends, people you went to middle school with, like, these are all people now that you have to say, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. I know all these people are going to see it, but do I really care what they think or what they're going to say, right? And, that's what really took me so long to start like my online coaching, or not even online coaching, but just sharing my own fitness journey. I was so like terrified of what people would think, and even early on, like when I started posting, fitness content, I would have some friends or people who I thought were friends. They'd be like, oh, are you just going to be one of those fitness influencers? Ha ha ha. Right. And even though they were just like, kind of like, breaking my balls a little bit, like it still like hit a nerve with me. Cause I'm like, man, they're right. Like, like I didn't want to be just like another one of those fitness guys. Right. But I felt like, like I have a unique story and I felt like my story was my power. I'm like, I know there are a lot of people out there that struggle with their weight that would be curious to know how I got in shape and kind of turn my life around. So I'm like, screw it. I'm going to share it. And let's see where it goes. If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. Like, it is what it is. But, lo and behold, I started sharing and I started gaining traction and people started paying attention and people started following me and I started building a following and, it was great. Like it was really fun to see. And then there just came a point where it's like, dude, I don't care what people think. Like, I think as you get older too, it's part of kind of maturing. Like when you're younger, you think everyone's watching you constantly, right? Like
you think they actually give a shit.
Yeah, like you really think people are just on their phones, just watching your every move. And then as you get older, you're like, you know what? People were never paying attention anyway. Like people have so much of their own bullshit they're dealing with, like their own relationship problems, their own fitness issues, their own job issues, like their own financial issues. Like, people aren't even paying attention to you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people think like they're the center of the universe and everyone has eyeballs on them at all times. Even myself, like now that I have a relatively, you know, bigger following now, but at the end of the day, like maybe people check out my page or come across my content for like maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and then they're on to the next thing, right? So the quicker you can get over that fear, or at least the quicker I got over that fear of not caring what people thought, like that was like a big breakthrough for me. And that, you know, it's funny, years later, now it's like I have people that I run to or that I run into, you know, here in Naples, the same guys that kind of like, you know, took digs at me back then. They're like, oh, hey dude, I saw your Instagram page, or, hey man, you look like you're really killing it. And in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, bitch. Well, remember 4 years ago,
what do you think I've been doing?
Shit, you know,
and in the lab, bro, you know,
but it breaks my heart to hear a lot of people, like they ask me, I get a lot of messages. Hey, Steven, like I want to start posting, or I want to start doing this. And I'm like, why don't you start? And again, well, you know, I don't want people to think this, or, you know, people are going to think I'm doing this. I'm like, listen, dude, people aren't going to pay your bills. Like these people aren't really paying attention. As sad as that might sound, it's the truth, right? So you got to do what's best for you. Like just stay consistent with it. It's like anything else in life. Put yourself out there. There's someone out there that wants to hear your story. There's someone out there that could resonate with you. You know, there's a lot of people that don't resonate with me, right? But there's a lot of people that do. So, you know, you never know who's going to come into your world, especially with social media today. Like one of my bigger clients out in LA, he's like a huge name, like ridiculous, right? He messages me a few years ago on Instagram randomly. He found me on Instagram. I'm like, dude, are you freaking kidding me? Just random, you know? That's why you have to be consistent. You got to put your head down and just be diligent. Stay consistent with things, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to attract into your world. You never know who's going to come across your social media. And, you know, today the currency that the world speaks is your online presence, right? Like,
yeah, man. Dude, it's funny because you were talking about, you know, being afraid to put yourself out there, sharing your fitness journey. I think we're all afraid of that because it is a very, you know, transparent thing, right? Taking your shirt off, or if you're a female, getting in a bathing suit and say, hey, here's my flaws, right? That's difficult. But man, I remember it was, I mean, obviously it wasn't that long ago, right? About a year and a half ago, when I turned that camera around for the first time and speaking into it, and then like was going to put it on social media. That was the most anxietizing, like 5 minutes of my fucking life. I'm looking at all my flaws. I'm like, dude, I sound like an absolute shitbag. Like, what am I doing? Yeah. Right. The first podcast I ever recorded was just me saying like, hey, this is the first one. I hope people listen. Like, this is my plan with this. And, you know, I go back to it. I can't even listen to it because it's so bad. Right. But it's like, it's really cool. Like, I hate my old videos and I hate my very first few podcasts, but like, if you really go back and look at it, you can see your trajectory, you can see your growth. And once I realized, like, listen, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Like, people are going to hate me. People are going to come after me. Like, you know, in my DMs, whatever, you know, like my neighbors may talk shit. Like, fuck it, who cares? Right. Like, at the end of the day, like, I had to get super comfortable. And this is what I think you're talking about, is like, do you know, come be your authentic self, whatever that is, or whoever, you know, Steven is, be that guy. Put whatever you want out there in the world because you have good intentions and your story is impactful and you can help people. But man, I got to tell you, dude, that was some fucking scary shit. Like, I was scared. Like, and there's still times where I put things out there and it's just like, what did I say on that episode? Like, what, I mean, like, this is probably going to piss some people off. But then I thought, like, well, fuck, I felt that way. Like when I did the 2 episodes or the 3 episodes about, you know, youth sports and travel ball and all that bullshit, you know, 8-year-olds fucking throwing curveballs in the bullpen, 8U travel teams, 6U travel teams, save that shit. Be a kid, you know, and that's the adult's fault. But like, to your point, it's like, that's who I am. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to say. Right. And it is, you know, I applaud you for encouraging people like that because when people start doing things, I never judge. I watch, I'm like, oh, okay. So this person looks like they're, this is what they're trying to do. Right. Bro, I mean, the amount of people that turn their back on me when I started this shit would be the same people that are saying like, dude, all that French. Yeah. I used to know that guy. That's their biggest flex at that point. Yep. Same thing with you. Yep. Oh, I used to know Steven. Yeah. Back in the day. But do you know him now?
Yeah. A lot of people, man, like, like early on, I remember like when I started sharing information, and like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a PhD, but I have like 20 years of, I have my certifications, but I'm like, oh man, like, what if someone challenges me on this? And everyone's trying to take the guy down, right? Like everyone's trying to take shots, and in the beginning, like it would wreck me for days. Like so I would get one bad comment or or like some troll like sends me a message and it would literally destroy me. And now what a lot of people don't realize is like my posts that I post now that go viral, they go viral because, people are commenting on it and, a lot of the trolls come out and they start talking crap. Right. So what happens is these people are wasting their time trolling my content, but what they don't realize is they're actually pushing my content out there. And I'm getting a lot more eyeballs on my content. I'm getting more followers and more likes and all that stuff. Right. So in life, there's no such thing as having success and no hate along with it. Right. I mean, like one thing I've realized is like, oh, like it's funny because now I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, don't I don't delete any hate comments. I don't delete any because it actually helps me. It doesn't hurt me. It actually helps me more than it hurts me. Right. So, and listen, man, anytime you make a decision in life that you want to do something proactive and do something positive, like a lot of times it reminds people of their own insecurities or their own, lack of going after their goals or dreams too. Right. So in order to kind of fight that, it's like they come after the people they see, unfortunately, so
yeah. I mean, shit, man. Like, when people come at you, it's never about you. It's some type of reflection on themselves. They're unhappy with themselves in some type of way. And something you posted or said in your post or your reel or a fucking story, whatever the hell it is, it triggered something, right? But it's never about you, right? It's about how they feel and their life experiences. But look, man, I want to land the plane here. A couple more questions. All right. Imagine we're sitting here in about a year. What are we celebrating?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, man. Like my goals and my, like what I really want has changed so much. I feel like every year, like it just changes. I mean, I just want to help more people, man. Like I feel super blessed that I get to do what I love, like for a living, being a full-time coach and helping people. And I just want to help more people. I want to build something great. If there's anyone out there that wants to lose weight and isn't sure where to start or like how to do it, like I want to be a resource for them, and like
absolutely. I was hoping you'd say that Daisy would actually be at her goal weight. That's what I was hoping.
I hope she is, man. We'll see. She has a few pounds to lose. I hope she gets there.
Yeah, she will. But no, man, like, listen, the thing that I love about you is the same from the beginning of the episode to now is you're humble and you care about people and your sole focus is outward. You want to help individuals reach their goals. And I think that you're going to help thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in your lifetime, man. And, with that, I'll definitely be putting your Instagram handle into the show notes. But guys, if you're listening right now, and I have tons of listeners that, shoot me messages all the time, ask me questions about how do I stay motivated and how do I lean on people in order to keep chasing my dreams. And, I'm not a fitness model, but I'm a dad of 3, a husband, and I wake up every day and get after my life. Guys, Steven is the guy that's going to truly give a shit about your journey. He'll be there to talk to you, be there to help you along the process. If you're listening right now and you feel like you're a little bit, out of shape and you have a certain goal, then man, reach out to my guy. Reach out to my guy. I guarantee you, You say, you know me personally, is going to take care of you. Even if you don't say, you know me personally, is going to take care of you just the same. Stand up, dude. Go ahead and say, if you don't mind, what is your Instagram handle? And then I'll make sure I put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's just my first and last name, Steven with a PH, Steven Campolo, Campolo, Steven Campolo.
Get out my guy, y'all. Dude, I got to tell you, man, I had a blast, recording with you and be, finally getting to do this with you. I see you and I growing together in some capacity. I'm excited for me. I'm thinking a year ahead, and I think we're going to be celebrating a major collaboration of some sort, like major collaboration where you and I help, thousands of people together. And it's going to be one hell of a party, bud.
For sure, man. Iron sharpens iron. That's why you like, I don't care how established someone is or what they have going for them, or, you need like-minded people, because, like what's that saying? You're the average of the people you hang around with. Like I used to hear that. Dude, that's so stupid. Like, all right. As I get older, all my friends they're doing a lot better. They're pushing me because I see their success, right? Like when I see you successful, I want to push myself, right? Mm-hmm. So you rise to the level.
Listen, you're the sum of who you hang out with. That's for damn sure. With that said, we got to do another night here. Like we got to get the girls together. We got to do some dinner.
Yeah, for sure.
Set that up for sure. But listen, guys, I appreciate you listening to this episode with my boy, Steven. If you don't mind, if you got something out of it or think we're a bunch of tools, please share it. Share the show out. That's how we're growing. But again, I'll leave his contact info. Reach out to him if you have any questions. Steven, if you don't mind, hang out here for a little bit. I want to say goodbye to you properly. But again, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.